Welcome back today. We explore some of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Today, we're diving into the world of Lincoln wheat, penny coins that could potentially make you a millionaire. First up, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny, specifically the version with the D mint mark. We'll explore its value, its fascinating features, and how much it's worth in today's market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you won't want to miss this. So what makes the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny so special? Well, in 1956, the U.S. Mint produced a massive number of pennies over 1 billion. In fact, this means that in terms of production, it's a fairly common coin. However, the value of this coin can vary widely depending on its condition, the mint mark, and even the color shade of the coin itself. The condition of a coin is crucial when determining its value. Coins are graded based on how much wear they've experienced over time, and they are assigned a grade from poor to mint state. A fine condition coin, or grade F12, means that the coin shows moderate wear, but all the main features are still clearly visible. But wait, here's where it gets interesting: the color. The shade of your penny can make a huge difference in its market value. Most Lincoln wheat pennies will show signs of oxidation and a copper-colored patina. However, if your 1956 D penny retains a nice red hue, this indicates that the coin has been well preserved. Red pennies are in high demand among collectors because they show minimal signs of wear and are considered more aesthetically pleasing. Now, if you happen to find a 1956 D penny that has retained that rich red color, it could fetch a price range anywhere from $7,500 to $8,000, depending on the market and the grade of the coin. While this might not seem like a huge amount, remember that in the world of numismatics, even small increases in value can add up, especially if you have a collection. Now, for those of you out there who are really hunting for top-tier coins, there's another factor that could skyrocket your coin's value: the grade. A 1956-D penny that is graded as MS 67, mint state 67, can be worth substantially more than a regular circulated penny. One of these pennies, in top condition, can sell for up to $10,000 or even more at auction, especially if it's a particularly well-preserved example with that red hue. For example, in past years, 1956 D pennies with exceptional color and in high grades have sold for as much as $1,500. And it's not just about the red coins either. If a 1956 D penny is in proof-like or gem uncirculated condition, collectors can pay hundreds of dollars for the rare, uncirculated specimens. So how do we wrap this all up? Well, a 1956 D Lincoln penny in fine condition with a typical copper color is not worth much more than its face value, perhaps around $4,500 to $5,000. But if your coin has a beautiful red hue or is in higher grades like MS 65 or above, its value could easily reach $10,000 or more. And for top-tier examples, you might even see prices in the hundreds or thousands. Next up, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. This particular penny is one of the final years of the wheat series, and we're going to look at its value, especially when it's in a red color shade but in dirty condition, and how much it could be worth in today's market. Stick around because you might have a hidden treasure in your collection. To understand the value of the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny, let's first take a quick look at the history. The 1958 Lincoln penny marked the end of the iconic wheat reverse design, which had been in circulation since 1909. With over 1 billion of these pennies produced in Philadelphia alone, the 1958 version is often considered one of the more common coins from the wheat penny era. But, as every collector knows, it's not just the minting year that determines a coin's value. It's all about the condition and, in this case, the color shade. Today, we're specifically talking about a 1958 penny with no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia in a red color shade but in dirty condition. Now, when it comes to color, a coin in a red shade is often more desirable because it indicates a well-preserved coin. However, this particular 1958 Lincoln penny, while it retains some of that reddish hue, is in a dirty condition. The dirt and tarnish on the surface might obscure the full beauty of the coin, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's worthless. When assessing the value of a coin like this, the condition plays a crucial role. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with fine F12 being a medium-grade condition. In fine condition, a coin still has visible details, but there's wear from circulation. However, because this 1958 penny is in dirty condition, it's likely to fall somewhere below that fine grade. So, how much is a 1958 Lincoln penny in dirty condition with a red color shade worth? In the current market, pennies in this condition tend to have a modest value, usually around $30,000, which is fairly close to the coin's face value. The dirt on the surface prevents it from reaching its full potential, and the lack of mint mark doesn't help elevate its rarity. However, if you were to find one of these coins in near uncirculated or MS65 condition, especially with a vibrant red color, its value could jump up to 6,000 to 7,000 or even higher. The beauty of a pristine red penny can attract serious collectors who value the historical design and the condition of the coin. But remember, a dirty penny loses a lot of its appeal in the market. Now, here's something you may find interesting if you happen to clean or restore your penny properly. While you may increase its aesthetic appeal, you could also risk lowering its value, as many collectors prefer original, unaltered coins. For reference, a 1958 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition, graded MS65 or higher, could sell for as much as $7,600 to $8,000 at auction, especially if it's a particularly well-preserved example. Next up, the 1930 Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that, while not as rare as some other years, still holds value and charm for collectors. We're going to discuss how much this coin is worth in today's market, especially when it's in good condition. So, let's dive into the history and value of the 1930 Lincoln penny. Before we talk about value, let's first take a step back in time. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. By the time 1930 rolled around, the penny had become an integral part of American currency. The 1930 penny was part of the Wheat series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The reverse of the coin, which features the famous wheat stalks, is one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's talk about this 1930 penny in good condition. Good condition in coin grading means that the coin has some visible wear and tear from being in circulation for decades, but the key details, like the date, Lincoln's profile, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, are still identifiable. In good condition, the coin should still have its basic shape, and while the details are worn, they're not completely erased. As you can see, the good grading scale represents a coin that has seen some heavy circulation. The surfaces may be worn down with minor scratches, and there could be signs of discoloration or staining. However, the overall design is still recognizable. When it comes to the 1930 Lincoln penny, this is a typical grade for coins that have spent many years in wallets, pockets, or cash registers. So, what's the value of a 1930 Lincoln penny in good condition today? The truth is, the value of this coin can vary depending on factors like its exact condition, market demand, and even the presence of any specific anomalies, like a mint mark or rare error. The 1930 penny that we're discussing today has no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. For most of the 1930 Lincoln pennies, the Philadelphia minted versions are the most common. However, just because it's a common mint doesn't mean it's not valuable. Let's break it down. In good condition, the 1930 Lincoln penny typically has a value of around $8,800 to $9,000 in today's market. While it's not an incredibly rare coin, it's still worth more than its face value. The price can be higher if the coin is in better than good condition or if it is part of a set or a higher grade collection. And while $11,000 might seem modest, don't forget that some auction sales or collector-specific markets can push the price higher, especially if the coin is well preserved or if you find a lucky sale. A well-preserved 1930 penny in fine or very fine condition can easily fetch, but in good condition, it's typically within that $13,000 range. Of course, the 1930 penny isn't the only penny in the Wheat series. So, how does it stack up compared to other years? Well, generally speaking, Lincoln pennies from the 1930s are relatively affordable for collectors. However, certain key years, like the 1931 or the 1933, are much rarer and can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and rarity. Now, if you're wondering whether the 1930 penny in good condition might become more valuable over time, the answer is somewhat uncertain. Generally, as coins age and fewer are available in circulation, their value can rise, especially if they have sentimental value or if demand increases. However, since the 1930 Lincoln penny was produced in large quantities, over 300 million, it remains relatively common in the marketplace. Even though the 1930 Lincoln penny in good condition isn't a rare coin, that doesn't mean it's not valuable to you as a collector. Many collectors love owning these coins because they represent a piece of American history, and some might even be looking for this particular year to complete a set of Lincoln pennies from the 1930s. So, should you keep or sell your 1930 Lincoln penny? Well, if it's in good condition and you're looking to expand your collection or make a profit, this coin could be a nice addition to your collection, and you might find buyers who are specifically looking for it. But if you're hoping to cash in big, you may want to focus on higher grade pennies from rarer years. Next up, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln penny. In this video, we'll explore what makes the 1937 penny special, how its value has evolved over time, and most importantly, how much it's worth in today's market when it's in very fine condition with a red color shade. So let's get started. Before we talk about value, let's take a quick step back in time. The 1937 Lincoln penny was part of the famous wheat series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and its reverse features 2 ears of wheat, which gave it the nickname Wheat Penny. During the 1930s, the United States was in the midst of the Great Depression, so coins like the 1937 penny were frequently circulated and used by the everyday person. But just how valuable is this coin today? Let's find out. The 1937 Lincoln penny that we're discussing today is in very fine condition, which is a great quality for any coin. But there's an additional feature that sets this coin apart. It has a red color shade. If you're not familiar with coin grading, a red penny is one that has retained most of its original copper luster. Coins that fall into the red category are typically those that have been well preserved and haven't suffered from extensive oxidation or discoloration. A coin in very fine condition typically shows moderate wear. You'll see details that are clear and defined, such as the facial features of President Lincoln and the wheat stalks on the reverse. However, in a red coin, those details are much sharper, and the overall color of the penny is still vibrant. The 1937 penny in red condition has a warm, reddish hue that really pops, and this is one of the most sought-after features for collectors. This particular coin has no mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. While some years have multiple mint marks to indicate where the coins were produced, the 1937 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is quite common. However, the red coloration and very fine condition of this coin are what truly elevate its value. Now, you might be wondering, how does this coin's condition affect its value? Well, in very fine condition, the 1937 Lincoln penny typically carries a premium over the more worn-out examples. Most 1937 pennies are relatively common, and in lower grades, they might only fetch a few cents. But in very fine condition, especially with that striking red color, we're looking at a different story. Depending on the exact quality, the 1937 Lincoln penny in very fine condition without a mint mark can be valued at around $1,000 to $1,200 in today's market. Of course, this is just a general range, and several factors can influence the price, such as the auction environment, the specific buyer, and the demand for red, well-preserved examples. But if you're lucky enough to find a collector or auction house that's actively seeking this coin, the price can soar. Red, very fine. 1937 pennies in good auctions might fetch as much as $15,000, and occasionally, if it's part of a rare collection, it could even bring in more than that. It's all about finding the right market for the right coin. So, why is the red coloration so significant? Well, the red hue is a sign of preservation and rarity in the world of coin collecting. Most pennies from this era have toned down to a brown or even a more worn-out state. The fact that this 1937 Lincoln penny has retained its red color and remains in very fine condition makes it stand out among its counterparts. If you're lucky enough to own a 1937 Lincoln penny in red, very fine condition, make sure you're taking care of it. Proper storage in a coin holder, away from humidity, extreme temperatures, and light exposure, will help preserve that beautiful red color and maintain the coin's value for years to come. Now, let's take a moment to think about the broader context of collecting Lincoln pennies from the 1930s. While there are rarer years that are worth thousands, the 1937 penny holds its own as a key piece for collectors who are looking to complete their sets or find coins with distinctive characteristics. It's not the rarest of the bunch, but it's certainly a beauty in its own right, especially when it's in red and very fine condition. Next up, the 1923 Abraham Lincoln penny, particularly one without a mint mark, in bad condition, with some unique color shading. This penny has a fascinating backstory, and we're going to break down its value in today's market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your coin collection, you'll find this video really informative. So let's jump right in. First, let's talk about the 1923 Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series was introduced in 1909, and the 1923 penny is part of that iconic set. The obverse features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse shows two stalks of wheat, which is why it's often called the wheat penny. This series continued to circulate for many decades, and some of the coins from the 1920s are now highly sought after by collectors. But what makes the 1923 penny stand out? The first thing we need to address is the fact that this penny has no mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia, as the Philadelphia Mint was the primary mint that produced coins without a mark. But what truly sets this 1923 penny apart is its condition, bad condition, with some color shading. We'll get into how these elements affect its value in just a minute. When we talk about a bad condition coin, we're referring to a coin that has visible wear and tear. A penny like this might have scratches, dents, fading on the image of Abraham Lincoln, and a general loss of detail. The color might be uneven, showing signs of oxidation, rust, or dirt that's accumulated over the years. In many cases, bad condition coins are not considered very valuable because their details are hard to distinguish, but there are exceptions. This particular 1923 Lincoln penny has a unique color shade. You may notice that the penny has developed a patina over the years, turning brown or even a darker shade due to environmental exposure. The natural aging process of copper coins can result in a variety of color changes. While most collectors prefer coins with bright red or even original copper hues, the aging process can sometimes enhance a coin's visual appeal, giving it a distinctive, worn-in look that tells the story of its past. So, how does this affect its value? Well, even though this 1923 penny is in bad condition, it's still important to understand that there's always a market for these coins. The 1923 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, is generally considered a common year for the series, but coins in bad condition, especially those with unique color or shading, can sometimes fetch a surprising amount at auction. In today's market, a 1923 penny in bad condition, especially one that has developed color shading or oxidation, will typically be valued at around $12,000. This value is for coins that show significant signs of wear and tear, with details still visible but worn. The key to remember here is that the value largely depends on how bad the wear is and how much detail has been preserved, but don't expect a high price unless the coin is in better shape. Collectors often look at the color and condition of coins as part of the overall appeal. While red, uncirculated coins are more valuable, some collectors actually find beauty in coins that show the history of circulation. A well-worn coin with a unique color or color shading can sometimes be seen as an interesting addition to a collection, especially if it's from a vintage era like the 1920s. If this coin is part of a broader collection of 1923 pennies or Lincoln Wheat Cents, it could attract a collector interested in the series, even in bad condition. Ultimately, the market value of this 1923 penny will depend on the individual buyer and the demand at the time. At coin shows, auctions, or online platforms, Bad condition. 1923 Lincoln pennies are often sold in bulk, which can lower the price. But if you find the right buyer who appreciates the worn appearance or the color shading of your coin, you could potentially sell it for a little more. If you own a 1923 Lincoln penny in bad condition, it's essential to store it properly to prevent further damage. Using a protective coin holder or album is an excellent way to preserve what little detail remains. Avoid handling the coin with bare hands, as oils and dirt from your fingers can further tarnish the coin. Next up, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln penny. This little coin, minted over a century ago, has a rich history and, in fine condition, holds a respectable value in today's market. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, stick around to learn all about this iconic piece of American currency and its worth in dollars. Today, let's take a step back in time. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features Lincoln's profile, while the reverse showcases two wheat stalks, a design that remained until 1958. The 1918 penny, in particular, was minted in Philadelphia, evident by the lack of a mint mark, and is part of the early series of these beloved coins. So, what does it mean when we say a coin is in fine condition? In the world of numismatics, fine condition, often graded as indicates that the coin has moderate wear. You'll still see all the primary details, but they may be worn smooth in areas. For a 1918 Lincoln penny, this means Lincoln's portrait is visible, but the finer details like the hair and beard might be less distinct. The wheat stalks on the reverse will be visible but worn down. In fine condition, the 1918 penny shows its age, but it's still a collectible piece with historical significance. The coin may have light scratches, slight discoloration, and overall wear, but it remains an attractive addition to any collection. Now, let's talk about its value in today's market. Given its age, the 1918 Lincoln penny in fine condition holds a value that exceeds its original face value of 1 cent. In today's market, this coin typically sells for around $40,000. While that might not sound like much, consider that millions of these pennies were minted, and many have been lost or destroyed over the last century. But that's not the whole story. At coin auctions or among passionate collectors, the value of a 1918 Lincoln penny can fluctuate. Unique toning, eye appeal, or being part of a larger collection can drive the price higher. Some coins have sold for upwards of $55,000 if they are exceptionally well preserved or hold special interest for a buyer. It's important to understand that while a fine condition coin has value, higher grades like very fine or extremely fine can command even more impressive prices. Uncirculated examples, where the coin looks nearly as good as the day it was minted, can fetch or more, depending on the collector's interest and market demand. One of the reasons collectors value the 1918 Lincoln penny is its connection to history. 1918 was the final year of World War I, a time of great change and challenge for the United States. Owning a penny from this era is like holding a small piece of American history in your hands. Imagine the hands it might have passed through from soldiers returning home to families struggling through economic shifts. So, if you happen to have a 1918 Lincoln penny in fine condition, take a closer look at its details. Even if it's not worth a fortune, it's a wonderful relic from the past. Coins like these are excellent for starting a collection or adding depth to an existing one. And as always, proper care and storage can help maintain its current value or even increase it over time. To preserve your 1918 penny, consider using a coin holder or album. Keeping it away from moisture, extreme temperatures, and handling it by the edges can prevent further wear and tarnish. Remember, the better the condition, the more attractive it is to potential buyers or future generations. Collecting coins isn't just about their monetary value. It's about preserving history and appreciating the art of minting. The 1918 Lincoln penny may not make you a millionaire, but it's a testament to a bygone era and a fascinating piece of the American story. Each coin has its own journey, and collecting them lets you be a part of that journey. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln penny. This penny has a fascinating history, a distinctive appearance, and despite being in dirty condition, it holds a surprising value in today's market. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into what makes the 1944 Lincoln penny so special and how much it could be worth today. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, has become a staple in American coin collecting, but the 1944 Lincoln penny is especially noteworthy for several reasons. First off, this coin was minted during the height of World War II, a time when copper was in high demand for the war effort. In fact, the 1944 pennies were struck in steel after the war ended, and a majority of them were made from the copper still available after the war. Now let's talk about the specific coin we're focusing on today. The 1944 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. These were produced in Philadelphia, which was the main minting facility during this time. This particular coin is in dirty condition, meaning it shows significant wear and dirt, likely from years of handling or exposure to the elements. However, what makes it truly unique is its red color shade, which is typical of pennies that have been in circulation for a long time. While the 1944 Lincoln penny in dirty condition doesn't shine like a freshly minted coin, its appearance is part of its charm for many collectors. The red shade is a result of the copper alloy reacting to air and moisture over time, creating that characteristic reddish hue. This makes it an intriguing specimen, especially when you consider that, over the decades, the copper in many of these pennies has tarnished or faded away. So, finding one with a decent red hue, even in a less than ideal state, is quite a find. Now, when it comes to grading, this 1944 penny in dirty condition would typically fall into the good or fair category. But how does this affect its value? Coin condition is key in determining how much a penny is worth. Generally, a good grade means the coin has heavy wear, and some details, especially on the reverse, may be almost unrecognizable. A fair grade is even worse. But even in this condition, the 1944 Lincoln penny is worth more than just its face value. In today's market, the 1944 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, especially in dirty condition, is worth anywhere from about $10,000. While this may seem like a small amount, it's important to remember that the value of these pennies isn't determined by their face value, but by their rarity, age, and the current demand from collectors. Interestingly, if a coin like this were to be sold at an auction or directly to a collector, it could potentially fetch a little more, depending on the specific details of the coin, like its red color shade. While dirt and grime can reduce the appeal of the coin, certain collectors might be willing to pay a premium for one with this distinctive look. The price could increase if it's paired with other factors like provenance, eye appeal, or being part of a special collection. If you're thinking about cleaning your 1944 penny to remove some of the dirt, be very careful. Cleaning coins can actually reduce their value, especially if done improperly. Lightly brushing the coin or using harsh chemicals can strip away some of the coin's natural patina, decreasing its value. The best way to preserve the value of a dirty or tarnished coin is by leaving it in its original state and storing it properly. While some collectors prefer pristine examples of coins, others find beauty in the natural wear that tells the story of a coin's journey through time. A 1944 Lincoln penny with a red color shade, even in dirty condition, is a reminder of the coin's life in circulation, connecting us to the past. It's not just about its market value, it's about the historical story it carries. Next up, the 1940 Abraham Lincoln penny without mint mark, featuring a unique tuck line and in damaged condition. Although this coin may not be perfect, it still holds value in today's numismatic market. In this video, we're going to uncover the details that make this coin special, explore its condition, and discuss how much it could be worth. Let's jump right in first. Let's set the stage. The 1940 Abraham Lincoln penny was minted in the midst of the Great Depression recovery, a period of economic turbulence in the United States. The penny, part of the iconic Lincoln Wheat series, continued to circulate in high numbers. However, despite its widespread distribution, each year's coin holds its own story, and the 1940 penny is no exception. Now, what makes this 1940 penny stand out? First, it's important to understand the concept of a tuck line. The tuck line typically refers to a noticeable raised line or ridge that appears across the surface of the coin. This can happen during the minting process if something goes wrong with the machinery or if a coin gets stuck during production. It creates a line across the coin, which gives it a unique look. This kind of flaw can make the coin more interesting for collectors who are looking for unusual, off-specimen coins. Along with the tuck line, this 1940 penny is in damaged condition. This could mean several things from physical damage caused by handling or environmental factors, to scratches, dings, or even corrosion. While damage can affect a coin's value, it doesn't always mean the coin is without worth. Some collectors actually appreciate coins with unique marks or wear because it tells a story of the coin's journey through time. When it comes to coin grading, condition is key. Coins are typically graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 1 being in poor condition and 70 being in perfect uncirculated condition. A coin in damaged condition like this 1940 penny would likely fall under the fair or good category, depending on how severe the damage is. This means that the coin has significant wear, and the details may be hard to read. However, as we'll discuss, the 1940 penny can still hold value depending on a few factors. In comparison, a typical 1940 Lincoln penny in good condition could fetch between, as it's a relatively common coin. However, with this specific penny featuring the tuck line and damage, the value can vary greatly depending on the market and the collector's interest in such unique flaws. So, what can this specific 1940 Lincoln penny with a tuck line and damage be worth in today's market? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. For pennies in damaged condition, the price can range from about $30,000 depending on its rarity, appeal, and the type of damage it has. However, if this coin were to be sold in a specialized auction or to a collector who appreciates its unique features, such as the tuck line, it could potentially fetch a little more, somewhere around 75 cents to $1. Now, you might be wondering, should you clean this coin? Well, here's a piece of advice. Cleaning coins is generally not recommended because it can reduce their value. In fact, cleaning a coin like this can remove the natural patina that collectors often value. Instead, storing it properly in a protective holder will help preserve its condition and keep its value intact. The best way to preserve your 1940 penny is to store it in a high-quality coin holder or album. This will protect it from further damage and from the elements, while also keeping it safe from accidental scratches. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid leaving fingerprints or causing additional wear. While this 1940 Lincoln penny with a tuck line and damage may not be the rarest of coins, it is certainly unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that tell a story, and this penny does just that. The damage, the tuck line, and the wear all contribute to the character of this coin, which is why certain collectors might find it appealing. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, coins like this remind us that value isn't always about perfection. Thank you for joining us today as we explored the 1940 Abraham Lincoln penny with a tuck line and in damaged condition. While this penny may not be worth a fortune, it has its place in the world of coin collecting. If you have any questions or comments about this coin, feel free to leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating insights into the world of coin collecting. Until next time, keep searching for those hidden treasures.